Welcome everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a great weekend. This is an update on Litecoin, which is giving us some really bullish action to the upside. And it's not the only crypto. We're seeing the same thing across pretty much every crypto, as well as the stock market and other asset classes. But of course, this will be a video specifically on Litecoin. All these charts I'm going to present will be available in the description below. So check out the links there if you'd like to see it. But this is our short-term 30-minute chart. And after a lot of carnage, we're finally seeing some green, actually. We've had several consecutive days of green. So going back to take you guys to the history a little bit, it looked like we had our bottom in on May 12th, but then we had some really sketchy upside rallying, especially in Litecoin. Some of the other coins looked a bit more bullish, like Bitcoin Cash and Dash, among others. But Litecoin was giving us a hint that there was more downside to come from pretty much right back here in middle of May. So we have what I'm now calling the fourth wave high of our downside action. So that was actually third wave bottom, fourth wave, and we finished with our lower low. So I'm counting this as a 1, 2, 3. A 3, 4, 5. And you may be wondering why I marked this as the official low. Well, this is where a lot of the coins hit their low on the 18th. Some of them may have hit their low a little earlier. I'm calling this a truncated bottom. It makes the most sense to me, although there is an alternate explanation that this could be an A, B, and a C wave up. So it could be a fake out before we have lower to go. But right now we're seeing too much bullish action across the crypto space to make that our primary. So again, we have the chance we could get a lower low, but I see it as a low probability at the moment. Here's what our close-up structure looks like. I'm actually going to put it on the 50-minute chart, give us a bit more resolution. So we have possibly a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would hope to see a bit slower, a more visible fourth wave. We're not seeing that in Litecoin, but we have in other coins, which we're going to look at in just a second. But that's 5 up, A, B, C. That's 3 down. So that is our 1, 2. And now we have another 1, 2 set up in place, and we're off to the races. If we keep going, expect us to follow through the sequence here with our bigger third wave, hitting the $70 to $74 mark with the final top somewhere between $76 and almost $80. Once we have that, we should see a pullback for our bigger wave 2. And if we can hold support above whatever our low was, our official low being somewhere between $40 and $42, that is a very good indication that we have bigger rallies ahead. And that would be a more secure place to buy. So once we get back into this box, potentially could be a good place to buy. What does this box represent? This is what we call our pivot zone in Elliott wave theory, which is between the 0.618 and 0.764 extensions off of our 1, 2. Normally, if you can break through this and hold above the bottom of the box, that's a very good sign that we are really in some kind of a third wave or a C wave. It just more or less confirms that this is not a fifth wave of the original rally. So that's what you want to see. That's the first sign that we're going to break through. And Litecoin is approaching the bottom of our pivot zone. Now, other coins have been giving us similarly bullish action. So this is Bitcoin right here. Here too, we have the same kind of setup where you can clearly see what I meant by more definition with the fourth wave. You have a 1, 2, third wave, clear fourth wave that was a little slower, and a fifth wave, which also subdivides into 5. That's what you want to see, a little bit more complete. And this topped on the 21st. Ethereum also has a pretty clean setup, possibly an ending diagram for the fifth wave. But again, you can clearly count this as 5 up. And I believe the other coins that had very clean looking patterns were Dash and potentially Chainlink. Here too, where we approached the pivot. We failed on our first try, but that could mean it's a nested 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's a good sign. And of course, Chainlink, I think also had a clean structure to it. Yes, you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe the nested 1, 1, 2 setup going. So shifting back to the coin that we're focusing on, we want to see us break through this box over the weekend. Why over the weekend? Because crypto trades around the clock 24/7, unlike the stock market. So the stock market had one heck of a run up. If you watch my State of the Cryptos update that I put out, I believe on Friday, I was referring quite a bit to the stock market, in which we hit our bottom on June 17th, and we clearly have a 1, 2, 1, 2, and possibly a third wave here. We may already be done with the third of the third wave, and we're working on the bigger third wave, something like that. Otherwise, we could go even higher than that, but there's nothing bearish looking about this so far. The pullbacks have been very standard textbook, and the sub waves have looked impulsive. They have 5-wave structures without sharp pullbacks within. So that's a good sign. And because the stock market ran ahead, again, it's already close to the top of its third wave. We need to see the cryptos catch up. So therefore, we may see some more upside action over the weekend in order for the cryptos to catch up to the stock market. Now, big picture, you guys may be wondering where all this doom and gloom the past several months has put us. Well, same situation as with the stock market. Now, I've reworked this chart completely because it was an absolute mess. There's a lot of alternate patterns. I've actually simplified this and set up the big picture count to align more with what my counts in Bitcoin and other coins are. So now you guys will see that I was actually mentioning this in the past few updates, that this top in December of 2017 I'm counting as a major third wave top. I know that Litecoin doesn't go back as far, so we can't see what the 1-2 looked like. But when we look at the older coins, such as Bitcoin, it is very clear that that was a manic, explosive high. And one can easily make the argument analytically that we had our 1-2 way back here, maybe in 2013, maybe even earlier than that. So you got your first wave, second wave, and all the fibs and everything line up to make this our third wave. The same goes for Ethereum as well as Dash. So you can clearly see a 1, 2, 3. Again, that's also what January 2018. And finally, Dash, which I've been using as my primary example for the altcoins. Same kind of thing, 1, 2, clear third wave blow-off spike in December 2017. And, well, we haven't seen the MACD get stretched anywhere near that extent. And therefore, if we have 3 up and we've presumably completed our fourth wave, we have one final wave to go. So shifting back to Litecoin, where does that put us for Litecoin specifically? Before I do that, let me make sure. I was going to check to see. I think Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash also has a similar pattern. So once I put that update out, it'll look very familiar. But Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash are following very similar structures, assuming that is a third wave top, major fourth wave that ended in December of 2018. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4 waves to go, or waves done, presumably knocking on wood or PVC, whatever this is. And we have one more final fifth wave to go. Have we really bottomed? Well, you can see the furious rally off the bottom. We just looked at that in the close-up picture. MACD is supporting that. We're seeing an upward divergence from the downward price action. So we're seeing everything we need to see to call this a bottom. So once again, we're expecting an ending diagonal fifth wave. So unlike an impulse, an ending diagonal also has 5 waves, but there's a lot of overlap. You have a deep second wave, a deep fourth wave. The fourth wave almost always overlaps the top of the first wave, and your internal structures are not clearly impulsive. So one could argue these are 5-wave impulses here too, or you could also argue that this is actually an A, B, and a C. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to put that down just so you guys can see what I mean. This is going to be important when I show you what my future projections are holding. I'm going to make this purple first of all, and finally make sure the degree is a little bit lower. I think, that's the right degree I want to see. So once again, I'm counting this as an A, B, and a C for the third wave. You could do the same thing back here for the first wave. And therefore, I would expect our fourth wave to also take a 3-wave ABC pattern. Because Elliott waves are fractal in nature, I would expect our fifth wave to somewhat resemble the first and the third waves. There's the law of alternation, so it may look more like the first wave than it does look like the third wave. But again, I'm just speculating here. We don't have enough upside action to make a structured projection on what we're expecting. Now, what we expect next, I'm going to go over in just a second. There is the alternate pattern, which is the red. And this is prevalent. I believe, EOS is following this pattern. Dash came very close, although we're seeing pretty impressive bounces in both of those. That calls for this lower low hitting and breaking our supports, in this case, 2557, which would mean that this entire pullback from our December 2017 high is a gigantic fourth wave correction. Certainly possible. We've seen this kind of thing in certain asset classes, but we're not seeing this anywhere in cryptos outside of EOS. Maybe there's some smaller coins that could be in this situation, but I'm not seeing this as a high likelihood right now. But if it happens, we expect us to land in this red box somewhere. And high likelihood will be in the upper half of this red box. We're going to see what happens. So now back to our primary pattern, because I expect 3-wave zigzags to finish off our final rally structure. When I look at what happened in our third wave here, we had an A and a B, and we actually hit the 2.0 extension of the AB. So what that would mean is that if we rally from here, maybe to the bottom of this box, and we have, let's call it a standard 38.2% retrace, that more or less does project into this blue box overhead. I'm going to delete this because, again, this is purely speculative at the moment. We need to see more upside action, but I would expect our first leg of the rally to get somewhere in this box. Again, I think lower part of the box, so right around 124, 125 would be a reasonable target for the first leg of the rally, and that could happen relatively quick. I'm talking maybe like end of the summer, something like that. Here we went from March of 2020 to about August. So that's about, about 5 months. So from the bottom that we hit in June, possibly late summer, early mid-fall, we could expect this A wave to take place, have a very quick short B wave, and then we could take off like the Dickens after that. Expect this final leg, this is a C wave, to take the form of an impulse. So it'd be a 5-wave impulse. I'm not going to draw that on the chart right now to minimize clutter. And that does have us hitting the 700 mark. The 700, 715, 720 mark has been on my charts for the better part of the past year, as long as I've been doing updates on this channel on Litecoin, and it hasn't changed. It's a strong confluence from many different levels. When we assume that this is basically a 1-2 here, oftentimes your ending diagonals will hit the 1.764 extension of the 1-2. That's 715. If we take if we do a 1.0 extension of this entire thing, that's about 750. There's confluence there as well. And as I mentioned, if we assume that we're going to have a fractal copy of what we saw within the third wave here, A, B, that's about where your 2.0 extension is. So that's a reasonable extension. It would mimic what we saw in the third wave. So lots of reasons to believe that we will actually get in that box. I have an upper target that is a little higher. So you never know. I have my diagonal trend channel lines here because diagonals often do abide by these trend channels. And that is giving us a timing of sometime maybe as early as maybe the middle, maybe spring of 2023, as well as into late 2023. There is a lot of confluence there among different asset classes, stocks, crypto miners, Bitcoin Dash. I think I did something like Dow, even energy. There is a lot of indication that we're going to see some kind of topping happen throughout 2023. So not everything's going to top at the same time, but they'll be kind of closely tied. So whatever happens in cryptos may indicate a top in stocks. Vice versa, you often see energy, commodities, bonds run ahead. So if you start seeing explosive rallies in those, that could indicate we're getting near top. But once that happens, that will be the major top. So that would complete the entire 5-hour cycle that began, well, before Litecoin actually started, probably 2011, 12, 13, something like that, whenever the Bitcoin bottom, the Bitcoin initial coin offering, whenever that was. This is the end of that cycle, and it's also the end of possibly a 100-year cycle in the stock market. So we may be in for some incredible pain. Expect a colossal crash to take us right back to this support right here, $20 range. That would be ugly, and that would only be the A wave because, again, ending diagonals often precede a pullback that goes back to the origin of the ending diagonal. So expect that to happen. $22 could be an ugly crash, and then it might take many years to get out of that bear market. So giving you as a teaser some of the content I'm going to be creating over the next few days and weeks, but subscribe so that you don't miss any updates. We're going to have more confident setups as we complete our upside rally structures. And of course, we're keeping an eye on all the other cryptos as well to give us more clues. If you enjoyed my video, don't forget to give me a like. Till next time, thank you for watching and happy trading.